Myron Gaines has reinvented himself as a part of the white right. No longer is he Myron Gaines, the dating coach guy. No, he is basically trying to be like baby Charlie Kirk, going out doing street interviews, collaborating with, people on the extreme right. And that's what he's been doing. He recently had a very, very big interview with Candace Owens on this podcast. So that's where Myron is trying to take, his particular life right now in his career. All right. So that's very, very important. However, Myron is a person that is really, really known on the right for being anti-Semitic.
Everything, every issue, every ailment in society, you could tie it back to feminism. Every single one. Feminism. Who pushed feminism? The Jews. Gloria Steinem, etc. Who put so much? The Jews. See, these are the conversations they don't want you to hear. Right? This is what I mean when I tell y'all. I would rather be honest with you guys and keep it 1,000 and say what it really is than having to bite my tongue.
So as we all know, like Myron, for the most part, blames Israel for everything, okay? And Fresh is different. Fresh is pro-Israel, okay? They live in Miami. It's so bad, I believe that people say that Myron cannot even get into most Miami nightclubs because of his positions and stances. But nevertheless, like this is what's going on. So basically that is the issue here, all right? But the problem with Myron is that Fresh and Fit, they are managed by a Jewish guy, allegedly, by the name of Gary. So it's almost like being like Dr. Umar Johnson, talking about being pro-black, okay? You don't like interracial dating. You can't stand this, you can't stand that. But then you find out that, Dr. Umar Johnson is managed by a white man or a white woman, or he's dating a white woman, all right? And so that's the hypocrisy, because a Jewish person is the one that manages Fresh and Fit. So despite the fact that Myron makes all of this content against Israel, the state of Israel, certain Jewish people calling them all out their names, when Myron's manager was exposed to be a Jew, here's what Myron said.
I've said this before, I'll say it again. I don't hate Jewish people. I'm critical of the state of Israel. I have Jewish people on my team. I have Jewish friends. And you're not going to get me sitting here saying, oh yeah, I hate Jews, No, I'm critical of Israel and the Jews that support Israel and its apartheid ethno-state that is currently doing a mass massacre on Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. That is what I oppose, okay? And the elites that use their influence and their power to continue to facilitate this murder and destruction and subvert our government. And a lot of these people aren't even Jews. There are Jews that speak out against this stuff. Look at Dave Smith, Max Blumenthal, right? Some of these guys are Jeffrey Sachs. These guys are all Jewish. Norman Finkelstein, Jewish. All these guys see what is going on and speak out against this. So those guys have my respect. So I'm not going to sit here and condemn an entire race of people over the actions of a few. That's ridiculous.
And he's saying, not all Jews are like that, everything, which is crazy because when it comes to blacks, all blacks are like that, allegedly. But he tries to still clean it up.
He's a good guy. He helps us out quite a bit. Obviously the content that I make, you guys see, I keep it raw, I keep it real. He more helps with like the behind the scenes stuff with Fresh. Like him and Fresh do a lot of the, collabs, setting things up, whatever. But when it comes to like topics and what we discuss, you guys already know I do my own thing. I talk about what I want to talk about. I do what I want to do. I say what I want to say. That's why you guys are able to get this unfiltered stuff. And funny enough, people say this shit. Gary actually agrees when it comes to Israel. Just so you guys know, Gary's an anti-Zionist. I don't know if y'all know that. He doesn't publicly talk about it all the time. But they asked him about a certain event when on his discussion with Stu, and he gave a number that isn't the regular number that everyone gives. I'm on YouTube, so I can't go too deep into it. But the people in the chat know what I'm talking about.
So, I mean, he just cleaning it all the way up, all right? This is what he's trying to do. And so people on the extreme right, they do not like it. They're not feeling this at all right? They're looking at it like, you're down bad, you're dusty as hell, okay? And it's not cool. Because how can you be out here preaching anti-Semitic stuff, and you're literally doing business with Israel. Like, they're managing your career, so now you can't be trusted. And let me just tell you this, and it's not that I have a problem with Israel or Palestine or whatever, but based on their core fundamental argument, I honestly believe what they're trying to say is true, because how are you going to talk about Israel and the Jews, okay? You're literally talking about these people. You're insulting these people. But here you are trying to do business with the same people that you're insulting. So how can we trust you? Because on one end, you go around the country debating Jews, and then for the one that you like, you have this specific way to let him off the hook, okay? So that's what they're saying. So now there is obviously a little bit of a beef right now brewing between Myron and then Nick Fuentes, because remember, Nick Fuentes is completely on the right. He's completely anti-Semitic. But watch what Nick Fuentes says.
If you saw this one from Matrix Prime that was pretty personal towards you, but it's pretty ridiculous that FNF tolerates him. Don't mean to keep bringing attention to him, but it's disgraceful.
Oh, Fresh and Fit. Who's Matrix Prime? Let me pull it up. Oh, Gary. Yeah, well, I said that to Myron. I told Myron, I said, I don't like that you hang with people that are talking shit about my family and are Jewish. And he knows how I feel about that. And I told him, like, it's hard for me to work with you if that's going to be the case, you know? And I'm not trying to say, oh, anyone that has a problem with me, but it's like, these are people that go after my family. These are people that go after my family. They go after me physically. And I go, yeah, you know, it's hard for me to actually work with you if that's going to be the case. So, you know, and I made that clear to Myron. And so that's just how it has to be, I guess, you know. And here's why, you know, and I don't want some big drama. I like Myron. Myron's a good guy, smart guy, everything like that. But, you know, I know a real friend is not going to hang. If you're really my friend, you're not going to hang with somebody that's attacking my family. You know, that's beyond the pale. You can attack me. You could say whatever you want about me. I got a thick skin and I'm in the arena. But, you know, somebody that's going after your family, that's where you got to draw a line. And you either got to tell your homeboy, knock it off, or, I mean, are we really friends? So, yeah, I don't like it either. I think it's bullshit. But, I don't like to turn everything into a big public drama, but yeah, it's not cool.
So this is interesting, right? And this is what I've noticed, guys. First of all, Myron was the one, and I got to give him, you know, credit for this, not because it was good, but I got to just, you know, tell the truth. When Myron was doing very well, okay? When Myron was doing very well and Nick Fuentes was not, who gave Nick Fuentes the opportunity, okay? Who gave Nick Fuentes the opportunity to come on to the platform? It was Myron and Fresh and Fit. It actually, Nick Fuentes even admitted that these guys, okay, went bankrupt or lost their monetization by having people like him on the platform. All right, that's what Myron did for Nick Fuentes. All right. Myron's the one that brought on, I think, Andrew Tate first, all of this. So this is what Myron did for Nick Fuentes. Now he's saying that Gary, you know, he's trying to tell Myron, you need to give up your manager because your manager is threatening me and my family. I don't know how true that is because Nick Fuentes has been known to lie, so we don't know. But he's telling Myron, listen, me and you not going to be friends. And it's not going to matter all the things that Myron did for Nick Fuentes. It's not going to matter. Because if it wasn't for Myron, Nick Fuentes right now would not be going mainstream. He would have had no platform to even get that audience because Nick Fuentes was banned from everything. But again, that just goes to show you. And also, you know, Myron was recently working with Candace Owens. And look, Myron not about to lose his money over Nick Fuentes. Myron already lost a lot of money behind Nick Fuentes. He ain't gonna do it twice. He gonna get rid of his manager to be cool with Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes don't care about Myron. And so what you're gonna see is there is going to be a problem between Myron and Nick Fuentes. I guarantee you. Wanna know why? Because when you come together, like basically hating on people, you know, like you're the reasons why you're friends is because you hate blacks. or you dislike Jews, or you dislike whoever else. You can't build no friendship off that. Nothing that's real. And I'll tell you that from what I know about the black manosphere. A lot of guys in the black manosphere became buddies or became friends because of black men's lower position or frustration with the black community. We didn't all come together initially as, you know what can we do to help our position in the way that is positive for the black community, black men and black women together. That wasn't it. Okay, we came together because of the frustrations. And just because you and a person share the same frustrations, it's going to be different when you don't have those frustrations anymore. Now you got to move together as a unit. And so this is the problem, all right? And content creators is going to do what's best for them. I can tell you right now. Look at Myron and Candace Owens. Candace Owens know damn well that Charlie Kirk couldn't stand no damn Myron and anybody who dealt with Nick Fuentes. But here she is going onto Myron's platform, talking about her so-called friend Charlie Kirk. When Charlie Kirk didn't deal with Myron, he didn't like Myron. He couldn't like Myron because Myron loves Nick Fuentes. Myron platformed Nick Fuentes. So how could he like Myron? How? It's not possible. It's not possible. So these guys are going to fall out. And then when they fall out, all the blacks are going to be doing is sitting back there looking like, damn, that's crazy that they going to be acting like that. That's wow. That's insane. Yeah, that's how it's going to work. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Shitty Jackson, back at it again. Another episode of The Celebrity Drunk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.